to start on our fajitas, which is our entree. And today we're making chicken fajitas. I already have our chicken breast marinated, and we'll talk about them in a minute. But again, we're going to work backwards. I'm going to start with cleaning and cutting my peppers and my onions because I don't want to contaminate my board with my chicken first. So to seed a bell pepper, you cut them in half. Generally, I just take my thumb and I pull the stem out, which will remove the majority of the seeds. And then I either have a garbage bowl or a trash can, and I just shake the remaining seeds out to get rid of them. For our fajitas, we want long, thin strips of our peppers. So I have a couple green peppers here. I have a gorgeous yellow pepper and a beautiful sweet orange pepper. You could also use red peppers, which are sweet and not hot, which is a lot of people think that red peppers are hot. They're not. They're just amazingly sweet. I'm really trying to focus here on keeping my strips about the same size because I want them to cook at the same rate. If you have strips that are thicker than others or thinner than others, they're going to cook at different rates, and you're going to have some that are, super done and blackened, and other ones that are still kind of raw and crunchy. So focusing on how you cut your vegetables is just as important as how you cook them. I am going to go through the rest of these peppers, and oops, we got some seeds that decided to stick around. I also gave these a quick bath under some running water before I cleaned them, just to make sure that there wasn't any kind of dirt or anything on the outside that we didn't want to eat. That guy's a little thick. There we go. So I will finish the rest of those peppers. I'm going to show you real quick how we're going to prepare our onion. So this is just a yellow onion. You could use a white onion, you could use a Vidalia, you could use a purple onion, whatever you have at home. How I'm going to prepare my onion is I'm going to cut off the top because I want a stable surface. I'm going to take my knife and go straight through the middle. And then I'm going to peel my onion by taking off the outer skin and possibly the top layer if need be. This guy is looking pretty good, so I don't need to take off too many of his layers, but I want the whole onion because this is fajitas. Now, if you were making fajitas for a vegetarian crowd, you would definitely increase your amount of peppers, and you would want to include some non-meat protein options like possibly black beans, or beans are the best source of non-meat protein to add. So red beans, black beans in these fajitas would be a great non-meat protein. You could also do shrimp fajitas if you have some pescatarians in your mix. Shrimp cooks very quickly, very easy to prepare. A quick marinade, it doesn't take long because your marinade will penetrate your shrimp quickly. I'm just trying to make sure that I am being careful with my very, very, very sharp knife. All right, so I'm gonna get the rest of these cut up, and I'm gonna meet you guys back with my chicken. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to our protein. So as I mentioned, we're using chicken in our fajitas today. Now, my chicken I've had marinating since last night. You can do this marinade anywhere from about a half an hour, preferably an hour before. You can do it overnight, but you don't want to exceed 12 hours. And the reason is this: the amount of lemon juice that is used in the marinade will actually start cooking your chicken after 12 hours and toughen it up. So these chicken breasts, these are whole chicken breasts that I have taken and cut horizontally in half. So normally you get a chicken breast out and it's super thick, especially on one end. So I need my meat to be thin enough that it can cook quickly, because chicken breast has a tendency to dry out, and you don't want to serve dry chicken. So I have taken my knife and very carefully, horizontally cut through my chicken breasts until they were thinner. Now, a lot of people will say, why don't you just take a meat pounder and pound them thin like you would if you were preparing like a cordon bleu? The problem with this is when you pound the chicken thinner, it changes the texture. And for fajitas, we want plump, juicy, tender chicken. We pound it to death, it's going to change that texture and make it very stringy and dry. We don't want to do that. So I have cut these horizontally, and they have been marinating in 2 tablespoons of lime juice, some extra virgin olive oil, some minced garlic, salt, ground cumin, chili powder, half of a jalapeno, and again some more cilantro. And we'll have all the recipes that we use today down in the comments, so if you want to prepare this meal exactly, you're more than welcome to. So I have pulled half of my chicken out of the marinade. I pull the other half out now. I am kind of scraping off the majority, not all, but the majority of the marinade, because I don't want these cilantro leaves burning in the bottom of my very hot cast iron pan that we're going to do these in. You could also prepare these on a grill, but since we're doing this inside today, I am going to use my favorite cast iron pan, and I'm going to get it very, very warm. So I am going to take my chicken breasts that I have trimmed and marinated. There's a little bit of fat there that I missed. I'm going to take that off there. And a little bit of membrane over there. Get rid of him. Okay. So I have my chicken breast here, and I am going to cook him whole. And the reason is this: if I slice them and then I cook them, again, we risk them going dry. So I'm just kind of taking a moment to make sure that I have got anything off of here that I don't want my dinner party to eat. And I'm gonna go fire up my cast iron skillet, and we get to cook. All right, so I have my favorite cast iron skillet on the stove. I have it very hot. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of canola oil. And I'm using canola oil instead of olive oil. That's gonna smoke right away because it is really hot and ready. I'm using canola oil because it has a higher temperature resistance than olive oil. Olive oil's flash point is very low. So I'm gonna put my chicken in there. It's gonna make an awesome sound and a pretty awesome mess. And I'm gonna work in batches. It's really hot. And I want it to sear, and I want to leave it alone. It's going to make a really great mess. So throwing a towel on the floor might be one way. If you have a splatter shield, you can put that over the top. There's some cleanup to this, but it's worth it. I'm going to use my metal spatula. He's not quite done yet. About 2 to 3, maybe 4 minutes on the outside, because I cut these chicken breasts down considerably. He's ready. Here we go. So you can see he's got a nice sear. And I want to cook these until they're just done. Then we're going to let them rest, and the heat that is in there is going to carry over and finish cooking my chicken. I'm also going to wrap it in some foil while it hangs out on my cutting board. I'm going to get a nice big piece. I'm just going to wiggle it in there so my chicken has a place to go. I'll flip this guy first. He's got a little bit ways to go. taking his temperature in the pan is not going to really help me because I'm going to get more of the pan temperature than the chicken. But I can tell by poking him, he's not quite done in the middle. So I'm going to let him go for a few more minutes. After these guys are done, I'm going to work through the other batch. And then I'm going to put my veggies back in this same pan. We'll be back in just a second.